Okay.
Thirsty and 30.
Hi, Bea.
Hello.
Good evening to our rom-com and thirsty friends here in episode 22 of Thirsty and 30, the blind leading the blind chat show on modern life and love. Hindi ko pa rin memorize.
Pamatayin ka na ni Ezzy.
Our
One of our
goal
friends,
here, mm,
go, give it your
our
best shot.
goal here is to help you improve your relationship with yourself and others. I'm Shari, your favorite non-expert.
Hello, Sherry. And everyone else. I guess, for tonight, this is a really hard topic. Feeling naman ang hirap ng buhay. But this is a very complicated topic for me because I really love violence in a film. So watching romance in a film was very hard. So I poured myself a whiskey. So everyone else who's going to be joining us tonight, just please grab a drink, a tea, whatever you want, whiskey, whatever beverage. Yeah.
Okay, so Bea, I was inspired by Sana Maulit Muli, one of my favorite movies because I am a Team Aga and Team Leia person. But Bea, you haven't watched that film, I know, but I've sent you a bunch and we watched our guests' films the past few days. So what did you think about the rom-com world?
You know what, Cherry? It's quite hard. Like this week, hirap na hirap ako, diba? Because like last
Megastar
Sunday,
ka. Megastar.
sobrang negastar. But last Sunday, we released an episode on Sestralon, and she's like in the world of hard facts. And for me, romance is not around facts. I think it's a lot of like subjective and I don't know, kilig, jealousy, a lot of sobrang negastar ko today. Titingnan mo na ako ng death stare. But yeah, I have to say I didn't realize how cute Aga was before, and I appreciate the OFW culture and how hard people had to work to progress their life.
Yeah. Ako,
The
honestly,
episode itself, though, medyo the film itself, medyo nahirapan ako in the end. Kasi they kept calling each other babes. Hindi
bakit
ko,
ba if they call each other babes? If Aga Mulak calls you babes, or you're like gonna call him babes back, I would.
aga na lang, diba? Hindi pa pwede,
But
Bea, aga,
anyway,
bagay
alam
naman.
mo, I can I get it. Sometimes it's way over the top. But I like it. I don't expect a grand gesture from whoever I'm dating anyway, so I can enjoy my rom-com in peace. See, our Anne, thank you. She would call Aga Mulak babes. I agree.
Okay, alright, okay. Sige, sige.
Okay,
Support
so
ako
because
dyan.
I'm a believer in enjoying a good rom-com, Bea is a negastar, we decided to bring two experts in. The first guest we have is Quark Henares. We usually make our own intros here, but we couldn't resist reading his Twitter description because it is the best. Quark Henares makes films, some of them porn, corrupts children in various schools, writes garbage for publications, tries to sing in rock bands, not gay. No, really. So welcome, Quark.
Hey
It's the
guys,
best Twitter description.
I know.
it's a 12-year-old Twitter description. I should change it.
Oh,
No, keep it forever. It's fun.
Parang
it's
hindi
in
na
the
woke
interwebs
porn.
forever.
And Mark, I have to say, I did watch your film Rock and Roll
Oh,
2 days ago. And start pa lang nung film, napaisip na ako, especially with the line, bakit hindi na nga ba sikat si Jimmy Santos? Bakit nga?
Oh,
I
or
love
Matet. Oh
Jimmy
my God.
Santos.
There's a
That's so
lot of
dated, no? We were laughing about that. We had like a 10th anniversary reunion yesterday.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we were laughing at how dated a lot of the I know where the
Pero
references.
totoo, I still do love Jimmy Santos. Where are you, Jimmy Santos?
Oh, eh.
Show
Diba?
yourself. Labo, show yourself to me.
Let's ask him to guess. Pwede naman
Oo.
yun.
Oh my God,
Baka
Jimmy. Tell
naman.
us about life.
The search for Jimmy Santos. Yeah, you should
Oo.
know. Hunt him down.
Hashtag
Nakilig ako
Jimmy.
Nakilig ako. In fairness. I mean, yung Agam film, medyo hindi ko tiniis. Pero ito, because I've always wanted to join like cool like band people, pero hindi ako marunong kumanta or play an instrument. Kaya just watching it is like reliving some kind of fantasy for me. Ayan, Cats.
Oh.
Ayan, Cats is a... Yeah,
Yeah,
should-
thanks for watching it, guys. Plus, shameless plug. It's on Netflix. It's not even been a week since it's been out on Netflix. So
Yeah.
so happy.
I have a lot of questions about the film, by the way.
Yes.
Later,
It was
later,
great,
later.
actually. Okay. They are next guest.
Yes, so our next guest actually went to the same all Catholic girls school. A bit older than us, and she is the film director of Baka Bukas, Billy and Emma, and Until Is Safe, which I find so impressive because most people just Netflix, spent their time on Grab Food and Food Panda, and there's nothing wrong with that. But she shot a film during the pandemic, so I think it's quite exciting. So I am a negastar when it comes to rom-coms and rom dramas. So I think there's no two people that are better to help us out, convince me and some jaded people that there is beauty in love story through film. So yeah, I'm excited, but I'm also a negastar. Sorry.
You are a negastar. And also, nawala yung guest natin. So let's
Oh no!
let's give it a
Ay,
Okay.
yan na.
You know why?
Ako
Because she's an
na.
INTJ. She's an INTJ.
Oo.
Yeah,
Ayun,
nahiya,
may
nahiya.
personality na nga. Hi, Sam. Welcome.
Hi.
Sam, I also watched naman your movie last night, yung Baka Bukas. And yung favorite scene ko naman doon, yung nasa bathtub sila. Kasi na-throwback ako sa high school days ko nung biglang kumanda si Jasmine Curtis ng Gemini. Type ko yun. Sponge Cola. Labo feeling eh.
Wait, is it an I1?
Ha?
I don't know. Where did you watch it? I think
daw?
it's on I1. I don't
Wait, is
know.
it an I1? Where do you see it?
Bea shared it to me.
I saw it a long time ago, but my favorite scene though was like the stairs because I don't know, I'm a negastar again. I love when she was moving on. Like I thought that was very cute. Wala, sobrang galit ko talaga sa mundo. But ang cute nung sabi niya na you love me before I was lovable. Parang we all wanna be lovable.
I don't know,
Diba?
it was very, ang ganda. Ang ganda ni Jasmine ha. Nagulat ako. Parang first movie ko yun.
Nagulat ka?
I mean, kasi I'm not familiar with her work except that one. And she's very pretty. Hello, Clar. Welcome.
Hi, Clark.
Our correspondent, Clar, how are you?
Okay.
Okay.
When we moved on to Kate Alejandrino, parang was it Jasmine in the film? No.
No, Kate was her ex.
Oh
So I have
yeah.
a funny story about this because we were talking about dates, right?
Yeah. Before the
I mean,
show.
so I think we were super like in a time crunch, and we really needed to cast for the role of Kate. And Kate, the actress, was only available to meet before her hosting gig in Shang BGC. So we met up in Toby's, and then we had to read that scene in Toby's. And I legitimately, like, people legitimately thought we were having like a closure talk in the middle of Toby's. I was like, because she's very like she's a really good actress, and she was like auditioning essentially in Toby's.
Yeah.
And so she was like, giving her 100%. And I was like, Kate, let's tone this down a bit. Because I'm looking like
You're
an
like,
asshole.
where am I?
Yeah, where are we? We're in Toby's in Shanghai.
And then in usual Sam fashion, you're like smiling while you're delivering.
Yeah, I was like, I had to say the lines with flipping the script. I was like, why are people like, because you were in the communal
You
table.
were
back.
acting ba? Hindi mo parang minamatch yung
No,
fashion.
I was, of course, like, I was just like, okay, let's No, it's just the
Let's get this
number.
done with. Hurry up, hurry
Yeah.
up.
Speaking of dramatic scenes, before we dive in our topic, we do have an anonymous letter that we got from our website, thirstyand30.club. Maplug lang. Okay. Bea, please read our anonymous letter.
So, I have to read this because minsan talaga naawa ako sa mga nag-message sa atin. Kasi parang nabubudol talaga sila eh. So,
Totoo.
I can't even give advice. Like, Sherry tells me, why are you giving advice? You're not, the picture
No,
of...
I see. Oh my God, guys, mo grabe ka ha. Life.
Okay, eto. All right, so I'm curious on the two of you because you're a bit more experienced here. Okay. Dear thirsty girls, I am a hopeless romantic, but also trying to be very pragmatic. I know dating is a numbers game, so I've done my reps. I've tried to get to know as much people as I can. I met this guy on Bumble and we have a common interest in tennis. I love talking to him because I learned so much about tennis. One day, I got a message request on Messenger, and it was a girl named Ella. She said, Carla, which is her name, I guess, please stop. When I checked her profile, I saw that she was in a relationship with Mr. Tennis since October last year. I Googled this guy and I don't know why I decided to not, I didn't Google him before, but I did today. And I realized that he also has one kid already, not from this girl. Honestly, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety. Dating is hard enough. Why does this girl feel like she can message me when she should really just talk to her boyfriend? Please, accidental Kerida. Yan. Bakit nga ba? Sa stress naman ako dito sa babae na to.
So, anong
Wait.
advice niyo, Quark or Sam?
What's the question?
Why
I
That's
don't
a
think she
big
really...
that's a big ass red flag right there. Why are we you
I don't think she's really asking a question. I think her letter, because I was chatting with her from this letter, an email, and she's feeling really anxious. And at first, I asked her to join the show to talk anonymously, but she didn't want to. She's like, just write a letter. I'm curious why I'm feeling anxious. So I guess Sam and Quark, like, why do you feel like sometimes, I mean, this goes into like Kerida films. Like, it's always the Kerida and the wife that confront each other rather than the husband or boyfriend and the girl. Like, I don't understand that part. So I guess maybe some words of to lessen her anxiety or...
Sorry. I thought I super got the
Oh
story
yeah.
wrong. I thought I thought Carla was dating the
No,
baby
no.
mama of tennis guy. No, she's dating tennis guy, and baby mama is
Yes.
like,
Red
yo,
flags.
So Carla and
No.
Mr. Tanis are getting to know each other. Then she gets a text message from Ella.
Yeah.
Ella is the apparently the girlfriend that he forgot to declare, and also forgot to declare that he has a kid.
But you
oh,
I
know,
think yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Sam.
No, I just think it's what it boils down to, right? Is we live in a very misogynistic, patriarchal society. And so from a very young age, we are conditioned as women.
Dying. Clark's
No,
dying.
it's true. We're conditioned as women to take the blame and not
Yeah.
necessarily see fault in men. And it bleeds into all aspects of society, not just dating, but in standards of beauty, in work, even in religion and in culture. It's like women are always put in a position that it is less than men. It's
Mm.
ingrained in our culture, and it's hard to unlearn. But I think another part of the letter that really stood out for me is when she said that dating is a numbers game. Um, I think that we as women really need to rethink the roles of romance in our lives, and we need to decentralize this as a priority, because the fact that we are gamifying dating and saying, oh, it's a numbers game, it's about the number of messages I have in my dating app, or it's the number of guys that I'm texting at the same time. We're just playing into the system. You know that marriage was initially, sorry, I don't know if you guys said this in my intro, but I'm taking my master's in women's studies. So
We have
marriage
that.
was conceptualized for the purpose of keeping land within families. So marriage is a product of capitalism, and it isn't really about. It's just I know it's this whole we're talking about rom
No, I
coms,
need to
but
know
at
this
the
Sige,
end
because
of
Bea
the
yan.
day,
gagamitin ko
it's
yan.
just about keeping land within family so we can pass it
Yeah.
down to the next generation. And so once you kind of like open your eyes and you're like, oh, I don't need to center this as my priority. I can have other
Yeah.
priorities in my life. And I don't think that anxiety will come into play that much.
Mm.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
use that in my next family dinner when people ask me why I'm not married. I mean, guys, this is a
We
enemy of
Yeah, I
Bea.
saw
family.
that
our
either.
family there.
Funny,
The
huh?
shortcake recipe needs to be passed down.
It's a recipe pala yung pinapasa mo, hindi land. That is very strong though. I mean, how about
Yeah.
you, Kark? What do you think? Oh,
Oh,
there.
and
Sorry.
we
Yeah,
were
well,
brought up thinking marriage is end all. Hindi, guys. Hindi pala. Okay.
Says the people who are not married.
Diba?
I'm also
Si Quark.
Quark's
Quark's married,
married.
right?
Okay,
Let's
go
ask
ahead.
yeah.
him. Baka naman.
But I didn't know that. That's an awesome tidbit to know about
Hmm.
marriage and the
Yeah.
roots. But no, I mean I agree with Sam. It's like that term home wrecker. But what if you don't know you're dating someone who's actually in a relationship or who has a family and parang speaking of budol, diba, Bea, you said parang what if you're in too deep na, diba? And suddenly now you're made to feel so bad about yourself. You're made to feel so horrible, but you didn't come in naman knowing that was the case, diba? That you were like getting in the middle of a relationship or anything. So um I don't know. I mean, obviously, we know why it wasn't the guy who faced Carla because parang he's the one who let it happen. He's the one who no, but it takes two to have an affair. But it's not the one person's fault. So someone was withholding information in the beginning. Someone was making moves without being transparent. Diba? So and I don't think necessarily it's why does parang yung good old Nora Honor Vilma Santos the kabit faces the kabit faces the
Yeah.
the asawa. It's more diba sino yung duwag, diba? In which case it's probably tennis guy.
The tennis guy. Tama.
Ato, may nagsabi, I love this episode. Bakit kaya? Bakit? Can you relate
Okay.
with Kerida?
Meron ka bang kubot dyan ang mansaher? Alam mo, and accidental Kerida. You know what? I can relate very much because I considered myself an accidental Kerida at one point because I remember a few years ago, I matched with somebody on Tinder. I really liked that guy. And like the normal person I am, I asked, "Are you married?" Because he was a little bit older than me. And he said no. So ako naman, okay, hindi. Pero hindi pala. The lesson there is to be freaking specific. Are you married? Are you in a relationship, open or otherwise? Lahat tatanungin mo. Because turns out like a few months down the road, I find out that this guy was in an open relationship. Tapos hindi ko naman alam. So I felt like, oh my God, am I some sort of Karida? But not really. So don't feel
Is it that you have to ask no off the bat?
Oo nga eh. Why do we have to ask nowadays?
Bakit ko kasalanan yun? Pero, to be honest, I felt a little bit guilty na parang I should have done my research. Although it wasn't, I think it wasn't my fault. So, Axel Corrida, it's not your fault. Si Tennis
It's not your fault.
Wait, question here. Should women do due diligence before they date someone? Or should they go with the spontaneous flow? You know?
Due diligence.
Like, should you check
I
if
think
they're
it
married
depends on
or...
what your intentions are. If you're just, diba? If you're like,
Okay.
I'm getting into this app to find someone to marry, then for sure do your
Yeah.
research.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, I'm getting to this app just to have fun,
Then no need.
Sige, no need to... Sige, okay.
Okay,
Hope
basta
that helps
Axel
you.
Corrida, not your fault. Everybody's in agreement on that. Okay.
Good luck.
yeah, it's not your fault.
So guys, before we dive into the topic, let's have a little icebreaker. Okay? So what movie title will you give your past, present, or future relationship. You can pick one, past, present, or future. What's the movie title?
Oh,
Who I was trying to
you do know that the movie title is like one of the hardest parts,
Yeah, I
to
know.
thank
decide on.
God I have professionals over here to. Pwede naman
Oo
pwede
nga,
naman,
ano ba?
Don't worry.
pwede
Surprise
existing,
rin sa akin to.
pwede existing movie naman.
Ano kaya?
Wala rin ako maisip na sagot actually. I was gonna stem from your answers once you give it.
Sige, ako muna.
Okay,
Let's
go
warm it
Bea.
up. Sige, warm up naman to
Can
this.
it be an existing movie
Yes,
title?
Oh,
pwede.
pwede rin yan, pwede. Oh, Sam, ikaw na. Ako
Okay,
muna.
so when I was living in Melbourne and I just moved there, I used to go out on dates and then I would tell the girl, just like take me to your favorite place. And that was my way of seeing different parts of the city outside of my little bubble.
Mm.
Although
cute.
I didn't, so my tag was kind of like 50 first dates, but like I never reached that number.
Not 50. Hanggang
So
ilan? Hanggang
I
ilan?
don't remember. But I did discover so much good restaurants and so much cool bars.
Wait, where was this? She was cute, right? I think I remember her.
I was like a bunch of different,
Oh,
But
okay,
that
different
would
people.
be, yeah,
Okay.
50 first dates.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
almost
Yeah.
50 first dates.
almost
Sorry.
plus minus 50.
Plus minus 50. Oh, guys, we have to ask the NBI clearance with
Oh
and
Yes,
nga.
and then
with the
no,
recommendation
and
letter.
then now kailangan ng COVID negative test.
Oh, yeah. Mahal
And we
naman.
need a barangay PCR.
PCR, hindi
We
rapid.
need quarantine. Yeah, you need the Trades app to know where he's been.
Lahat na lang.
It's
QR
complicated.
code.
Si Quark, okay na siya.
Oo.
Tayo,
Oh,
like...
Quark, movie title
Oo
of
naman.
your relationship, past, present, or syempre, past or syempre, sana or future. Same.
Well, ano ba? I guess because I gave this example to you, Shari, as one of my favorite romantic films. And since we're also talking about Jess Milner and everyone, I guess Singles, because there was that time, and Sam remembers this, na parang
Yeah,
the Singles
it's
of
kind of
Manila.
an our interlap.
Yeah, our single life.
Single.
Yeah, so yeah, it was the whole Singles of Manila thing with Bea Constantino and Ted Mark and Ernie, and yeah, so
Saya
um,
naman ang single before because there's like
yeah.
physical
This is so dark.
presence.
The purge.
The purge.
Sa akin yan dapat eh.
Oh, ikaw, Bea, what's yours?
Okay, pass na lang Let's make it fun. 10 years slave yon.
10 years a slave.
Ang nag-start
12 years asleep.
10.
Oh,
Bawas
12 years.
naman.
Pero so 10 eh. 10 years a slave.
Oh wow, you were in a relationship for 10 years talaga?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam knows. I was a
I
very
know.
sketchy person for a while. Like I didn't see Shari, I didn't see any of my friends. I basically was like
Bea was
almost
known
close
as
to slavery.
Bea was known as who's your other member again?
Wow.
I was never ako nagpapakita unless magwawalwal.
Okay. So since
Ikaw, Shari.
nega ka, Bea, okay, what's my positive? Ako future naman, pero positive ako. A New Hope. That's mine.
Ah.
Para na yung these aren't the men you're looking for. They're better men.
Aga. Let's get Aga to guest here. Aga, ready for you.
And Leia Salong. Leia, I'm a big fan. If anybody knows her, please connect us. Okay, so
Okay.
so guys, truthfully, what do you think of the obsession of Filipinos with the whole Kilig or Kerida plotline in the Philippines?
Go Sam.
I mean, you guys are like in the industry, so you would hear this a lot. Like, unless you just zone out from it.
Is it just the Philippines though? I don't know.
But overtly ating Philippines eh. I think.
Oo. Alam mo, I think I have a hard
Or
time
Colombia. Latin
looking
America, I think,
for-
would have that.
Pero, or even our teleseries, I have a hard time looking for teleseries that aren't really based on some sort of Kerida plot or love plot.
Na,
Yeah.
Nag-iisip
Yeah.
ako kung meron. Wala.
It's so bad here that I think they even have technical terms na yung mga Like for example, like hugot naman kasi is ano, di ba? Yung nothing new naman siya. It's senti, it's emo, di ba? It's kind of they just find the different words for the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, but kilig, yeah, may mga technical terms as in and I remember hearing it for this. Asan yung look of love? So apparently, look of love is when they first fall in love with the person.
Oh, wow.
Parang kulang ng kilig moments. Lagyan mo pa ng kilig moments, which are like cutaways of them going. Yung mga,
The look of love. Gusto ko
and
yata
yeah,
yun.
so yun.
Bea, tama na ang 10 years a slave. Look of love na yung bagong ano.
Ikaw,
Wag
Sam,
na.
have you experienced that?
No, I think diba, it's supply and demand. So I think you need to examine why
The
why
demand that's there.
Tayo,
the
yes.
demand why is the demand there?
Pero tingin niyo ba, it gives us like it sets us up for failure sometimes. Like our expectations today are so high for romantic gestures. Or di naman tayo ganun ka-impressionable.
Ganun tayo ka-impressionable if the last 5 years have taught us anything.
Oo, impressionable.
Yeah.
So we are very
And
impressionable as a
it's
nation.
also like super hard, right? Because I've been on a journey of reflection and healing, and so you kind of it's been a year of kind of like redefining what romantic love means to me personally. And then now when I watch like all these movies, like I talk to Clara about this a lot. It's like, oh my god, there's so much red flags in this plot, but it's like it makes such a good like Notting Hill. I love that movie. I watch it like 4 times a year. But if you look at
Four
Julia
times a month.
Roberts, it's like, oh my god, there's so much red flags with her as a person, and you can
Yeah.
see it. You can see it. It's like a car crash in slow motion, but it's like like it's fun to watch, and it's fiction.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's
That's what
hard
I find
to
hard with
say.
romantic comedies is because you know at some point, or romantic dramas, you know at some point it's gonna mess up. I'm like, alam ko na
Yeah.
mangyayari. Naasar na ako. It's like,
Or it's like, why are they ending up together where you know for certain that in the real world, right? Like that's not gonna work out.
Even
Diba?
in You've Got Mail, which is like one of my favorite films, and it's Tom Hanks. And then you watch it again, and then you're, oh my
Yeah,
God,
he
niloko mo
lied
pa
to
for
her
so
so
long.
much times.
Ang
Yeah,
tagal na naman, naloko ka. Pero nag-end up kayo together kasi may cute ka na aso sa Central Park, or sa park, where were they? They can't even remember where. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
madaming ang mga ganun. But
So
I still
I think so I think it's good to see rom-coms as kind of like existing in a world of fantasy almost kind of like Harry Potter when you were kids, right? It's or Percy Jackson. It's like, oh, it's fun to escape to that, but you also have to escape to it knowing that this isn't real life. Diba?
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's like a good thing to parang, diba? Like I was reading this book and some diba, parang it's I don't know if you guys are familiar with the word triggers. And so if you
Yeah.
want to use like rom-coms as a guide for your personal relationships, you can kind of use rom-coms as see like, oh, this what Tom Hanks there triggered me. And so how do you relate that into real life, diba? Like when a guy does this, like that's kind of what Tom Hanks did, and so I should like avoid that. So you should parang it's kind of like virtual reality for dating. It's like what you don't stand for in the plots of the films that you watch is probably what you won't stand
Okay.
in
All
your
right.
instead of being like, I need this guy to fill my room with roses. Use it in a more constructive, productive way. Diba?
Really a constructive way, not
I was texting Sherry. I was like, hindi
Wait,
ko na
speaking of
kaya.
this, or the manic pixie girl complex, you need to be the fun. Alam mo, honestly, malaki yung galit ko sa mga manic pixie dream.
Yeah.
I cannot stand a manic pixie dream girl. I cannot. Like, umiinit yung ulo ko. Like,
Can
in
you
real life,
imagine really dating a manic pixie dream girl? Like really being in a relationship with a manic pixie dream girl?
I
Parang,
can't imagine being a friend to a manic pixie dream girl. Parang,
Clark,
mga
have you been?
ko
Have
siya.
you been in a
yes,
relationship
I
with
have.
Oh, how was
Yeah,
it?
he has.
I mean, that was my jam.
Okay, Mark,
Honestly.
sino siya? Okay,
Backstage na yan.
how
Pero
was
yeah,
it?
that was my jam before. Pero
Yeah.
medyo, it can get tiring. Like, imagine the movie. Imagine Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and you're always with Clementine
Yeah.
or Amelie.
Yeah.
Na parang pagod din.
Yeah. Or
Diba?
500 Days of Summer, diba?
Oh my God.
He's
I
so,
hate
But
those.
don't we need the machine that can erase your memories? Like, that would be amazing. People need to invent that.
wow, Bea, grabe ka today, ah.
No,
No.
but like you just keep making the same mistakes over and over.
Oo.
Actually,
Tama yun.
okay, tidbit to, but the director, everybody finds the ending of Eternal Sunshine so sweet. But in the commentary, the director was like, I don't know why people find this sweet. I'm just showing that they're gonna make the same mistakes and always just break up. It's ridiculous. So that was not the intent. Na sweet yung ending na nakabalikan si Clem at si Joel.
Mas,
So this is my theory. People are really delusional when it comes to love. They really are.
yeah. Alam mo,
Yeah.
They are.
there is a point na you're just natililing ka na about it. Pero feeling ko naman sometimes people can be realistic rin naman. There are a few people who can be same. Pero I think the whole Filipino movie thing it kind of teaches or molds feeling ko based on what I see in around me. It kind of molds a woman especially to do the whole martyr thing. Parang that's what I notice a lot. Na parang it's common for men to date around. It's common for men to cheat, aka the Keridas. Pero the woman, the upstanding woman, will stay.
Yeah, and it's so prevalent because like, diba, when you ride a bus from Manila to La Union, they just play
Yeah.
all these rom-coms on the bus for 10
Mhm.
hours while you're there the entire time. It's like, sorry. That was my last trip to La Union was when I caught up with all these Pinoy rom-coms.
Yeah.
So it was just playing and I couldn't get out. Yeah.
Alright, so what's your favorite Filipino rom-coms again, guys? Or Kilig movies?
Mine was kung paano siya,
Kung
I
paano
haven't
siya-
seen this.
it's on
this.
Netflix. It's starring Rian Ramos and JM.
Oh.
I haven't seen that. I should know.
Okay, mamaya yun.
Ako Baka Bukas. I really do love Baka Bukas. And
I really
Sandos.
like it also.
I really liked it too. Both of your films. I was saying to Shar, I was like, okay, I can sit through this kasi parang realistic siya. Hindi ako binobola ng tao. Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
The only thing with rock and roll, natakot ako dun sa yung intense, yung metal guy. Yung pumasok na, natakot ako, tinodal ko yung volume kasi natakot na talaga ako sa kanya. Well, 16 yan. Rakista talaga yun? Or,
He was a professor in Ateneo also. I think
wow!
he was in Vietnam, but his name is Yagi Olaguera. And then the bassist, yung naka-leather, is the husband of Matet, believe it or not. So
Yung
But that
yun
also, I haven't seen in ages.
yeah. So
Amazing.
Sino yun?
which one?
There was a guy on a leash.
Or the ball guy?
Yeah.
That's our caster. So caster namin yun.
So, pero parang cool naman siya. Oh, yung scene na yun, nagulat ako. I was like, but it's a great movie also.
Yeah. So
Okay. So both of your movies had this theme, the unrequited love thing.
Yes. I mean, this is actually what I found really interesting is like, the whole idea. I think it's such a foolproof plot line that the love is not returned or rewarded. We love that plot. Like, I can't understand why we love when love is not returned. And we love to see it on the big screen. And why did you guys love making it? Like, obviously you chose that plot.
Did it come from something personal?
Do we like pain?
No, I don't know. I think that like for both films, it's parang both of them were based on the environments that Quark and I existed in. Like Quark with his gay culture and me when I was like going out a lot. So I don't know. I can't speak to how personal rock and roll is.
Okay.
But Baka Bukas was very personal. And I
Yeah.
think like talking about like self like examining oneself and stuff like that. It really boils down to your childhood trauma and what you were taught as what love is when you were a child. And I think that's
Mhm.
why we go after love that's not available. Because when you
Oh.
were a kid, that was what was taught to you. Whether it be, and I'm not saying like you should blame your parents or whatever. It's just like, you know, like, diba, parang just, parang kunwari, the best example I can give is like you get a reward when you get good grades. And in your little 4 or 5 year old mind, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna get a new toy. And in your mind, that's what you think love is, right? Like getting a toy. And it's like that reward system of your ideal of love. You take that with you when you grow older. Na parang, oh, I need to be this in order to be loved. I need to give flowers. I need to let him play PS5. I need to let him go biking with the boys. But parang the when the default should be like I am loved for who I am, regardless if I don't do any of these things. If that makes sense.
I love that.
Oh
Like,
my
I
God,
love what
Sam, you
you
haven't
said
spoken in
though.
so long, and this is so enlightened. Actually,
Yeah.
Diba?
yeah.
And
But,
it's like you don't even know you're doing like I bet your parents didn't even know that they were like fucking
Yeah.
up your dating life.
yeah,
I'm
no.
It's
gonna
No,
not
I think
bring
this
them
is a
but
good
mention it.
this is a good
Yeah.
intro to Bea's favorite question in life that we've been asking everybody now we've been interviewing.
That's actually,
Before,
yeah,
yeah.
that was kind of my follow up. I was like,
Mm-mm.
what is love for you, and how, I guess the second part there is how, what was taught to you when you were young? Because Sam did talk about that childhood really carrying out your adulthood. Which I kind of tweeted today. I was like, rules. I wish people stopped using the word rules, that they use the word values instead, because then we wouldn't really feel like we're getting in trouble all the
Yeah.
time. But
Mm-mm.
like for you guys, like love, what does it mean now? And what did it mean when you were being taught love? Ang lalim, but gets nyo ba?
Let's start with what is love.
like
Mag-apply na ang
Quark.
therapist.
Let's
Maybe
ask
you don't
the
get to know
married the
more.
married person
Let's
in this.
ask
Yeah, yeah, let's
let's
ask
ask
the
happily married
settled.
man.
Well, I will go into uncomfortably personal territory, and you can stop me anytime, Sam. But I think like Sam and I would always message each other, would always text each other. I think before, in the sense that parang I think we were like. I mean, as much as we're dissing like Kilig films, we were all about the Kilig, man. like,
Yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah.
what does she mean by this text? And he's like, what should they do next? And we're like, ganun talaga kami. Like, ano, parang, and like I'll tell her about this, girl who broke my heart in the US, or all of this, like dates I went on, and she'd also tell me about her Melbourne stuff, and parang, like, almost like the idea of being in love with love, diba? Yeah, filmmakers kami, diba? Parang the drama is natural.
It's
Yeah.
dopamine. It's like a drug.
Yeah, super. And I think um when and then I was always about that super passionate, like, oh my
Mhm.
god, it's such a strong feeling, hence the manic pixie dream girl excess and everything. And I think when I met my wife now, Bianca, like I just kind of like it it I mean it wasn't really that overwhelming feeling na parang that I was used to, but it's just really getting to know this person and kind of knowing in a weird way it's thinking about it na, diba? They always say follow your heart, but it made sense, like we were so compatible, we really had fed off of each other's energies and personalities, and yeah, Sam was there when Bianca and I got together, and I think I approached things more logically than I usually did, and but I think it lasts longer. It's so much nicer. It's so peaceful now. My life is so peaceful. I love it. And I mean, what is love? One of my favorite quotes is a Death Cab song, which is love is watching someone die. Diba? Parang that we're in this for the long haul, diba? And not the big spikes and the but kind of I have my companion for life now, diba? So, ayun.
And how was it different when you were young, though? I'm curious about that. Like
Yeah,
that's
no, I know, like I wanted to ask you this question occurred to me, Sam, and I'll ask it now. But looking at Baka Bukas, like, do you, are you parang like, oh my god, not the filmmaking way, but your way of thinking and your way of diba? Because rock and roll was not even rock and roll came out 10 years ago, but we wrote rock and roll 15 years ago. So even by the time I had finished the film, when we were editing it now already, I felt I had outgrown the film. So now looking at it from 10 years after it's done, parang I'm like, oh my god, nice guy syndrome. Or,
yes, it is like we were talking about the nice guys finish last or ano ba. I mean,
which is
your film obviously gave a bit of different take on that, but like sometimes kung masyado ka ba mabait, I mean, someone's gonna step all over you.
but diba? I mean, like that's also a form of that's actually also a fallacy, diba? Maybe
Yeah.
even a form of na you entitlement that parang oh just because I'm a nice guy I deserve love and la la la.
Yeah.
So parang so diba? I mean like a long time after that, parang I think I realized that maybe 5 years when I was dating si trauma-inducing girl from San Diego. Nasama
Trauma-inducing girl.
What a word.
Fun
What a
girl.
phrasing.
So but then I realized parang oh my god, like this nice guy bullshit has to stop, diba? Parang and then something that's very apparent in rock and roll. Is there something in Baka Bukas that you're like
Yeah. No,
she
I
just
think
threw the
both.
ball at you. But I was
No,
gonna
no,
ask a
no,
follow-up later.
no. Wait. I'll answer this. The parang not from a filmmaking perspective, but from a character perspective. I think both Alex and Emma in from Billy and Emma. I think they are both aspirational to me because they ended up choosing themselves. So at that time, both characters were, or until now, I guess, they're both like aspirational. That's why I think my like audiences always get mad at me. It's like, bakit open-ended yung, yung mga ending ng films? Because they never like run, they never go into the sunset and kiss or whatever. It's always like the lead character choosing to take her own journey or choosing herself first. And I think writing, it's always like, oh, that's, and I'm also writing something now. It's so interesting. Like, it's always like, oh, this is the self that I eventually want to be. So it's good to have those reminders, I guess, for as a filmmaker.
Sam, what I loved about Billy and Emma was like the passing of notes. I thought that was so like I just think
Yeah.
you know what nowadays it's like pass an email, pass a text, like slide into someone's DM, like where is the whole
Yeah.
like romance? And you know this is part of why I kind
No,
of
I
hate.
think, I don't think, that's the misconception, diba? Is that being a romantic or in being the super well-adjusted person are in different realms. But they can
Yeah,
exist together. Quark.
yan
Like,
nga.
you
I
look
like
at
that
Quark,
one. I
diba?
like what Sam said. Yes.
mm,
They're not, so it's not one or the other. You just have to find a good balance, I guess.
Yeah.
We're all about balance here. Huwag kayong totopakin, huwag kayong bubudule. And fuck, I'm really bad at Tagalog.
Mabubudol.
Yeah.
Wag kayo magpapabudol.
yeah.
Yes,
Diba?
tama.
So guys, so we were talking about how certain films, especially uber kilig films, can kind of have a negative impact. But if somebody wants to turn to movies to have a good impact on
Yeah.
their love lives, would you be able to recommend one? Na feeling mo, good example tong couple na to. Tularan nyo yan.
Tulan. Ang hirap.
Nag-isip rin ako, wala ako maisip.
I think the Before trilogy is actually a
Oh,
really
yes.
nice of the whole thing. Of the
The
whole
one
like
year, ano
diba?
daw? No.
Before
The
Sunrise.
before.
Oh, yes. Oo, yes.
Diba? Parang you have that kilig and fleeting and puppy love kind of thing, and then you kind of have when the world's happened to you and you see each other again, and diba, maybe a little more weary, a little more jaded, but kind of like, but it feels more real because pang, you've seen and done so many things, and then you get together, and now you've seen the ugliest parts of each other, and deal with it, right, and see each other through. So it's a nice like a trinity of movies, I think.
I am a fan. It's
Well,
absolutely like
galing. Ang galing.
one of the things na sunod-sunod na parang, oh, okay, this is life. It can be longer. It doesn't have to be just 2 hours. It doesn't have to be an hour and a half. My favorite, I don't know if anyone, I'm like obviously not pregnant, but Away We Go. Away We Go is so, I don't know if you guys have seen it. Like,
John Krasinski and diba, Maya Rudolph.
yeah, and they're just
Yeah.
trying to find like a perfect home for like their child, like, or their marriage. And I think that's kind of like, I don't know, there's something charming about it. Oh my God, lumalambot yung puso ko. Pero
Buti naman.
nahihirapan ako. Nahihirapan ako. But yeah, that one's a good one. Yeah. And
How
also
about
Got
you?
to Believe in Magic. Since we're talking about Pinoy cinema, I do like, I don't think it's healthy, but I like that.
Got to Believe?
Yes!
You know what? I actually literally right before going on the show, I was watching it and I couldn't believe no, it's so
Rico
dangerous.
yan, first of all.
So
Like,
dangerous.
Rico yan. Nasa
Yeah.
na siya. But the whole opposites attract, and then the end, it's like the whole friendship actually does win, and obviously my romance pala sa puso ko. But it's aspirational. All these films, although I get irritated, I have to say, like, there's something about it. It's like, I'm not irritated. I just want it. Like, I want that same romance that you experience in all those films. Yeah. So, oh my God.
But
yeah.
here's another thing that that here's another negative idea that rom-coms perpetrate is that romance is time bound, when in truth, diba? Because it's always like someone in their 20s or someone in their early 30s or whatever. But diba, like parang it can happen later in life. Like look at Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff. They both met when they were already at the peak of their careers, and they got married and had they're super cute.
I was gonna say I actually loved Hintayin ng Langit because it showed like
I haven't
romance.
seen this. Oh, I saw
Netflix.
this on Netflix. I think I tried to
Yeah.
watch it with my grandmother because I
Oh.
was encouraging her to date.
So they're so old that they're dead actually in the movie. They see each other in purgatory and they're each other's like the one that
Okay.
got away. And so
Yeah.
it's like yeah,
The one that got away, that's also another concept that's very patok. The one that got away. How I guys, meron ba kayong asking
Thought, yeah.
any Korean movie
I'm not a
record?
Korean.
Wala, sorry.
I watched this Korean drama. It was my first one. It's called Search WW. It's about three power career women who run big search engines in Korea. You should watch
Okay.
it.
I like
It's a
this.
K
I like
Not
drama.
about
this.
love.
It's a
It's a
movie.
K-drama. It's a K-drama. It's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, Maria, search WW.
Search WW. My love rin siya, so don't worry. But I thought it was super refreshing that the main point was it was three women who were powerful in tech companies, and it was about how tech companies were being run.
Okay, gusto ko yan. Gusto ko yung mga Korean. Like,
Have you guys seen Il Mare?
No.
Yes, in film school. It's
Yeah.
the one
It's
the
actually
Lake House was based
Yeah.
on.
what is it about?
it's so remember the Lake House, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullock.
Keanu Reeves.
It's adapted Il Mare. So it's the same story. Yung parang they're in the same house but different times, but they get to write each other.
Oh, okay.
To the shared post, to the shared mailbox. So
Is it a better
Il
version?
Mare is so much better than the
Oh,
Okay. Kind of like Time Traveler's Wife. I kind of like that too. That was a good romance. Not the same, but oh my God. Oh, sige. I have a lot of homework.
I really like Little Shop of Horrors. Is that a rom-com?
Not
Mm,
sure.
well, I was gonna say Jojo Rabbit. So I guess we were thinking along the same line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sabi ng isa ng mga film, wala akong maisip.
Wait, Sam, I want to talk about your current film because you shot it in like the pandemic. I'm curious, like, what you think
Yeah.
about modern love. Like, a lot of people are depressed lately because it's
Yeah.
all virtual, right? It's if you want to date someone, you have to take a swab test, and it's quite expensive. And to see some like, there's a lot of people doing virtual dates, but what do you guys think about modern love? Like, what's it gonna be? Because they're not saying it's gonna go back to normal this year, right? So baka 3 more years na ganito.
Uh,
What do you guys
I
think
don't
about
know.
like? No, okay. How
No, I did. I think I don't know if this is true because I haven't dated in a while.
a while?
But
Okay,
no,
you're supposed to give me hope.
no, I mean, I was anyway, whatever. Uh,
Okay.
I had something during the early stages of the pandemic, but
Okay, didn't
anyway.
work out. Yeah,
So I think that what was so interesting is that you totally stripped away the physicalities of everything, right? And
yeah.
so you're really forced to, use your brain and like you were forced to talk about things because you couldn't physically be together.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think for me, since um I hate small talk and stuff like that. I think that was like super interesting to me that it was like diving into the deep end almost because we couldn't go out and get drunk and, whatever, have coffee. So,
I love that perspective though, because it's not like a shallow thing. But for example, like Quark, you're
yes.
married. How does it
But I
feel
think
like? Yeah.
also that was the downfall of that
Oh,
Kasi
what
walang
because
about
it got
content.
so serious so
so
quickly.
fast? Yes, I can
Mm-mm.
And
relate.
we couldn't do anything about it because
Yeah,
she was in Melbourne and I was here, and we didn't see an end to this ever for a while. So
yeah.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry, I can relate.
How
How
are
about you?
how are you meeting people now? Like how are you meeting people now?
Well, it was all like, the online dating for a while, but I've given up on the online dating too because to me there really isn't the point. If I mean you're gonna
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
scour the internet and then I feel like you already know people that you like anyway. So
yeah.
talaga.
And so the question is now, Shari, it's not even like, "Do I like this guy?" It's like, is this guy worth risking my life for?
exactly. Yeah. I
I
remember
don't know.
early in the pandemic, I was again, it was early on. So last year, mga March, April, May. And then cute naman siya, and then Bumble match, and then usap, and then he was like, we should get a drink, or we should blah, 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 blah. Tapos inisip ko, worth it ba to enough na baka magka-COVID ako? So mga nag-isa mga
Diba?
5 minutes. Sabi ko, parang hindi. So sabi ko, I can't. Tapos yun, I was like, wag na.
Grabe yung stakes ngayon, ano? Death.
Oo.
I know
Yeah.
it's death. It's not
To my
It's
even.
really
life.
literally and it's not even just you who's gonna get affected. It's like everyone, like if you live with someone or whatever, it's like
Exactly.
everyone's gonna.
It's a numbers game. Sino who will survive?
It's what's the term in
Ano
Tagalog?
yun,
Patig,
there's a
basta na
hunger.
matibay. Ay.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. How about you, Clark? Like you're married, so obviously staying in the same home. How do you keep it like um
How do you not kill each
healthy?
other?
Yeah. Because I've been hearing that people just want to kill themselves together, like when they're in the same place. You have
Well,
spaces.
the good thing is that more or less we had been married less than a year when this happened. So it was cool because then we really get to super hang out with each other.
Yeah.
do 24/7. But also, yeah, it was a test of the marriage. At least, like, oh wow, we really know each other. But we have our things. Like we have our like she Bianca got really into skateboarding again, and then was teaching me how to skateboard. And then I got into like coffee, brewing coffee. So parang we have our own
Hobbies.
things that are quarantine selves that we kind of both I know I got in. We included each other in our thing as either the taster or the student or whatever. And then we got to show each other our favorite things. Like I was able to watch her favorite show ever, which was Avatar: The Last Airbender, and never
Oh,
seen it
wow. Okay.
before. Right? So, yun. And I showed her
Are
like Thomas Anderson. So
are there not so pleasant things? Like I'm just curious about the realities of, COVID and being like, okay, there are points of like, oh my God, I need like to stay in the bathroom for like 5 minutes or something. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
I just want to know, like, is there moments that are not perfect? Like, and what do you deal with that? Do you meditate? Do you drink more
um,
coffee?
yeah, no, because I mean, Bianca again, like I said earlier, super peaceful and it's such a peaceful and nice, diba, life.
Oh,
But yeah, definitely there were maybe one or two moments during the whole quarantine na parang, yun nga, parang oh my god, we need to like have our space. And I know we both got into meditating long before the quarantine. So yeah, that super helps. It really
yeah.
helps. Like and yun, I mean, again, Bianca also has this business that's all about holistic living and being grounded. It's called grounded.ph. And so, yeah, learning a lot from her in that aspect actually of relating and being together.
See, and you have such a like happy, light energy. I don't think parang
Ah, parang may halo.
parang hirap na
Backlight
like,
lang yun.
nagkarambulan tayo sa bahay.
Mhm.
But I have a question. Let's go back to movies and the Kerida plotline. Okay, so the thing is, I feel like the people around me, or at least based on my experience, the men na I know, lahat sila medyo manloloko.
Yeah.
Not rampant manloloko. And you hear it a lot. And I've heard na it's very common in the Philippines, kind of macho for men to have other women. What came first? That or the fact na sobrang uso yung Kerida plotline sa movies?
That's a good, it's
Manloloko.
chicken egg.
Yung mga guys na manloloko.
Dami though. Where you agree na medyo rampant siya in the Philippines as compared to other countries? Or mas socially acceptable siya dito?
I defer to the gender studies
Yeah.
master.
Sam, educate us.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know a lot of because I mean I'm very discerning about the straight guy friends that I'm very close to. One of them is
Okay.
Quark. So I don't really know about these shady guys and their behavior.
There are a
Diba?
lot.
But
There are a
I
lot,
mean,
Sam.
but I can't say that it's like you. How do I say this without getting into trouble? Like people who have a certain influence in society display a specific type of behavior, and it enables people to think that that kind of behavior is okay, whether it be to make rape jokes or to treat women poorly or to go after to analyze women who have achieved a certain rank in their lives solely based on their beauty and not by anything else. And so when you have men in power who act a certain way and they still get away with it, it just encourages the worst behavior in the men who follow them, I think.
Yeah.
I
Was
agree.
that something?
No,
No, I mean,
I
a
think
lot of things went through my head, like when you were talking about this. Of course, like this is not a political show, although it's those are the things that came in my head, like people that say things about, um, I'm not going to mention it here because I don't want to be a
Yeah.
complete
Okay,
megastar,
so
but
for example, diba, like in the States, you saw Donald Trump saying a lot of racist things, and that
yeah,
encouraged a certain behavior in the people among the people who followed him. And so
yeah,
I think yeah.
even I said, look
yeah.
beyond the movies and look at your leaders, and there.
That's why the imprint is
Yeah.
there. Which,
But also I
In
think
real life, in like, sorry, Sam, were you saying something?
no, go ahead.
Uh, like, remember that Bea and Gerald and Julia,
uh,
thing. Like,
yes,
di ba,
Yeah.
he really
what?
piled on Julia, di ba? Parang, I mean, even that showbiz, parang, I guess, to your point, that whole Kerida narrative is so, di ba there was a Mocha, nabuntis daw ata si Mocha last week? I don't know. And they
Yeah.
were saying it was another celebrity, and people were like
Yeah,
super messaging that celebrity's wife. I don't know. But parang, even Chismis World, and parang that narrative is perpetuated.
strong. Yeah.
Mm.
And
And
if I
it's the girl's fault. It's always Akrida's fault, diba?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I remember Julia getting a lot of shit for it and nothing on Gerald. Not really.
Yeah, why didn't
I was
anyone
like,
talk about him?
bakit
Mm.
ikaw yun sa news? Ano nangyari kay Gerald na yung may girlfriend dapat? Ay, ano ba yun?
Yeah,
Yeah.
diba?
But
So,
I mean, on the positive note, because I have been nega about a good hour already, I do appreciate both your films because both your films have the plot of like real life. Like I think when I watch like rom coms or rom dramas, I want them to be as close as what I know, very close. And you feel like, oh, I was that person's friend, like that best friend. And I think for you guys, like how important is it that your film is very close to kind of reality? Sorry, it's a very compared to like the Kerida, like because there's the Kilig, like really really intense, sweet, like Claudine and
Yeah.
Rico Yan, and then there's the your film that is very real, and then there's the Kerida. It's like I don't even know where I'm gonna like. There's too many categories under the romance film in the Philippines. I'm
Yeah.
getting
And I talk
stressed.
about this all the time. Like I think Quark and I are super lucky or slash unlucky because Quark and I both have day jobs outside of making films. And because we have those day jobs, we don't rely on films because we don't rely on films to put food on the table, and therefore we have more freedom to make films that we want to make versus someone who does this full time. Does that
Mm,
make sense? And
yeah.
so for we have like for example for Billy and Emma, I wanted it to be pro-choice, and so I was able to wait for a source of funding that aligned with that vision. Versus if I was only relying on Billy and Emma to make money, I would have said yes to anyone who would say, "Oh, here's some money to make the film, but change your ending or change what you want to say." Does that make sense? So I think both our films are indie films, and therefore we were able to kind of put more of ourselves into those
That's
films,
great.
versus being a part of a studio system.
mm.
Diba?
Sam, I'm
Yeah.
curious, how difficult was it to get people like with Bakabukas? Like, how difficult was it? I mean, it was a lesbian love story. Was it hard
Yeah.
to get off the ground?
It's it's so interesting. The last 5 years, when I was trying to get Baha Bukas made, the meetings that I was going into are so different from the meetings that I'm going into today. And it's only been 5 years.
Mm,
So even if it was hard then, and it's still kind of like hard now, or it's just interesting to see that there's at least some progress or some movement in the reception of what the reception to what I'm pitching.
So the contra would come from what usually?
Well, back then, since I think Bahabuhas was one of the few queer things that were being made at that time. Like I wasn't like people were saying you can't have a kissing scene or hindi to pwede. Or people would I would send it to managers and they would automatically say no because it was a lesbian film without even reading the script.
Mhm.
So it was that. But now it's different because there's more gay stuff being made. And so I think there's a little bit they're more open to it now.
Sharon and I talk about the bathtub scene. We love it.
Kasi I love that song. I mean, it's perfect. Like, I mean, you're scared. You haven't had sex with a girl ever. What a nice thing to, like, let me know if
Ang
I'm.
ganda ng bathtub. Ang ganda
Oh my
lang
God.
ng dalawa.
I loved it. Oh, tuwan-tuwa ako sa scene na yun. Tuwan-tuwa.
And Quark, I have to ask about your film because the one on the bed scene where she talks about, basically the guy, Dieter Ocampo. And then, like, he kisses her. Like, why is it always timing with that? Like, always, timing. Yung parang mali yung timing. Means.
Oh yeah, that see
Yeah,
Audie.
like, he
Yeah.
kisses her. And
Yeah,
obviously she
yeah.
says, like,
I know. What is that?
friendship. It's like, friendship is more important. I was like, he just kissed you and there's a bed
Ay,
there. Like, I
bakit ka
don't
ganon?
understand.
I know. Yeah. I know. Diba, yun nga, I mentioned that a lot of things are dated, especially yung mindset ni Audie in that film. But I do love yung how Irene kind of like, because like si Audie keeps diba, kind of like coming up with, okay, let's forget all the good times we had. Those meant nothing,
Yeah.
diba? And then parang hindi naman ganun kadali yung feelings eh. Hindi it's not a 1 plus 1
Yeah.
is equal to 2 parang ganun. So and I must admit okay, that a lot of that was most of that conversation did occur in real life.
That's what I was gonna ask you guys.
Sometimes
You and
I
Sam,
was
are those two characters very you guys? Because I can see something
It's
there
like
that's
stuff that
too
happened.
real.
Like the
Too
bathtub
real.
scene actually. That's why I'm laughing. Is it something that
Yeah. So both of you, those scenes have
except for
happened.
the singing part, but like that was just
You know
Sam,
what's great about movies is that like I mean you experience it and then you have a little time after it and then you're like, I wish I said this and I should have said that. And then you can put that in the movie. So it's like reliving.
like I wish I could sing Gemini to a girl.
Diba?
Did you ever think of doing it though? Kaya ba na-pop up sa head mo na perfect yung kantang yun Like,
No, I
Yes.
actually learned how to play an instrument for someone. And it was just like a combination of those things.
Yeah.
So you can't say that Quark and I aren't romantics because we are romantics. But it's like romantics na self-aware, I think.
I think you guys wouldn't have been able to make those films naman if you weren't a little bit romantic at all.
Yeah.
Diba? Because they were mga nakakilig. You know what Dieter Ocampo's character though reminded
Oh
me
my
of
God, yes. First-
Chris Evans' character in, I think, Scott Pilgrim
Scott
versus the World.
Pilgrim.
Diba?
Yeah.
Parang ganun yung vibe niya. I don't know why I
But
got
we made it before Scott Pilgrim.
Oo.
no, they emulated it. Yeah.
Ginaya ka ng...
Ginaya na naman kami ni Edgar Wright.
Yeah. But Dieter Ocampo. Also, what happened to Dieter Ocampo? Jimmy Santos, Dieter Ocampo.
I know. It's so weird. We had a reunion nga last night na 10th anniversary. He didn't show up, but he was there pala.
Where?
Like he sent me like screen caps of the Zoom. So I'm like, dude, you were there and you were just like lurking.
Sam,
Bakit?
true to the
I know.
character. True to the character.
True to the character, yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
God, na-inspire ako maging romantic dahil sa inyong dalawa.
Na-inspire ako maging filmmaker. Feeling a joke lang. I have no skill.
Shut
You
up.
could actually, if Bea wanted to write a film based on her
10
12
years.
years a slave, 10 years a slave.
10 years a slave.
It would
Yeah,
just be
that,
a
She
horror
could.
house. We should shoot in a horror
And can
house.
you cast me as your friend who you call when you're drunk? Because that's
Oh,
actually happened. Or you call
yes.
when you want to get drunk.
Sam was
Yeah.
my call a friend. Like, ano ba itong
Yeah.
nangyayari sa akin? Telenovela na to. Yeah. So,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, bakit horror house?
Yeah. My ex had a fascination of horror house, which we even went to Puerto Galera to explore that world, which I have to say, it was very interesting. I mean, you see all these women. But anyways, this is another topic. We can talk about it in another subject. But I
your
have
next
seen
10 years a slave.
basically like if you want to be jaded but like have a good like understanding of the world and society, you can talk to me.
Wow.
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 Okay. Noted.
Guys, don't forget that.
Oh wait, you know like Uneducated with Carrie Mulligan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Education, yeah.
That that was like my life, my love life in a film.
Magsulat ka na, Bea.
Was
We
he a
have
criminal? Was he,
filmmakers.
How was he a criminal? He could
Sketchy.
be many crimes committed.
Many
And
crimes.
masaya siya. I would say Hunter S. Thompson. Combination of Wild Child versus like, saan ba tayo pupunta? Ganyan.
Oh my god. So journalism.
Okay, Shari, please turn it to a good note.
Okay. We are towards the end of our conversation, I have to say. But I do want to ask, bottom line, do you think that this obsession of ours with the Kerida and the Kilig cinema is healthy or unhealthy?
Yeah.
Healthy or unhealthy, realistic, unrealistic, or is it just giving us
Confusion.
Because I think it's not just that. You know what I mean? So you can't answer that question. Diba? So,
Yeah.
for example, like, I don't know if you guys saw the news na parang the rate of teenage pregnancies in the Philippines are at an all-time high right now.
What?
And it's like, it's a systemic problem. Everything from what you're complaining about, Shari, to that, it all boils down to the existing problems that we have in the Philippines. So you can't just blame this one thing for fucking up everything else. You know what I mean? But you can see it as a symptom for a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. And I think
So-
like what Sam said.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sam,
Yeah.
Sam, you're like so So,
Sam and I can join.
Kailangan ko ng
We can join a
notebook.
club.
Yeah, I know like what Sam said. I mean, it's good to be, it's good to be aware lang of how these
Yeah.
things are affecting you and maybe what, but diba, what ideas they're giving you about love and relationships, etc. But I think if you have awareness, it's not as if like, okay, I'm gonna watch a Quentin Tarantino film and that perpetuates violence.
So good.
I know na your type of movie.
Yeah, halata ba? Lahat ng galit.
I'll make a
yes,
thing
natin.
to watch my movie Keka, which is a serial killer romantic comedy. Yun.
Okay, I saw that. I was like, why didn't I watch that? I was like, why didn't I watch rock and roll? But I get it. I'll watch both. Don't worry.
But yeah, so parang yun nga, just because they're into war films or killing films or whatever, na parang diba, it perpetuates violence. But I mean, it's also naive to say that these things don't affect you, diba? Especially if you're not critical minded about these things, diba? But I mean, the same way you'll watch a Marvel horror film to get the scares and to get that feeling. The same thing naman with romance, diba? And rom-coms, etc. You go there to get feeling, the worth the price of admission, right? So, not necessarily horrible, but just be aware.
Yeah, I think it's good. You know what's a good exercise? It's just to, instead of seeing the characters as yourself, see them as your best friend. And so that's like, oh, okay, I if that was happening to my best friend, I wouldn't stand for it. Diba?
Yeah.
Like in How I Met Your Mother, it's like what Ted Mosby does. It's like you wouldn't stand for that if he was doing that to your best friend.
Big
Kasi I think
closing your eyes.
also, wait, I think also kasi as women, we are kinder to people that are not us. Kasi parang we would let those things happen to us, but we wouldn't let those things happen to our best friend. Diba?
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. Oo nga, that's true. Like some of they were talking about it, like why are we more upset for this person? But if it was us, we'd be
Yeah.
like, ah, okay
Yeah.
lang.
Like
Diba?
the letter writer at the start of the show, parang she was like anxious. She was doubting herself that
Yeah.
when it was happening to her. But I'm sure if her friend came to her with that kwento, she would be like, "Girl, just ditch that guy and don't think about him." Diba?
Yeah.
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 I was trying to get
It's
on the show, but the anxiety, like I just think so much anxiety, which is why I love, like, let's say, Quentin Tarantino films, like let's say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because it's like it's not, it doesn't make me anxious because I know what's gonna happen. Like I just know there's gonna be blood. Like that's just like I don't know if that's really bad, but like things like Notting Hill and Love Actually, like I've seen it, I've watched it, but it's like it makes me anxious. Like I have to wait for that whole like grand gesture. And my topak. But like same as like accidental Kerida, like she's like so anxious about the situation, which I think sometimes love does make you anxious. So are you asking me, Shari, like that's staring me for a realization that's good?
What?
Okay,
No,
my
I wanna kill
my
you for something else
realization
after.
my realization with films like rom-coms, like be aware, like same as what everyone else is saying here, it's like have a level of self-awareness where your reality and expectations don't get messed up, because I think when your expectations and reality don't match, then your happiness gets really jumbled up like
Yeah.
scrambled eggs, and we all like scrambled eggs, but sometimes, you know.
Sometimes I like it sunny side up.
Exactly. Let's just separate the yellow and the white. That's very clear. So it's like, I think that's the main thing. Like, just your expectations and reality have to be
Yeah.
clear with rom coms, but they're fun. They're fun.
Yeah. How my
Halfway
take on
through.
rom-coms is enjoy it. Don't be delusional. Enjoy it.
Mm.
I think that's it. Simple. Some people, because I feel like some people tend to nitpick all the time, and then you just forget. Now it's made to be enjoyed, and not to sometimes overanalyze. But sometimes I get it. Nakaka-frustrate ako sa talaga yung buhay. Parang I want that or bakit ganyan, blah blah blah. But you know what, guys, just enjoy it and have fun, right? Hindi.
Yeah.
yeah, and don't compare.
Yun ang hirap eh. Compare them.
I wait. In comparison, like, have you both had fans that messaged you and was like trying to recreate your films into their
Or
reality?
obsessed. Or obsessed.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like they love your plot so much that they're like, I want this in my life.
O meron
Um,
na ba kayong crazy fan experience na obsessed with your storytelling?
you know what? You go, Sam.
Uh, mm, no, I don't know. Quark, you can go.
No, parang there's someone's been messaging me on Instagram na parang very strange things na parang
Ako yun, joke lang.
ah, no, yung parang you have to find this, she's the spy. She is the real legitimate daughter of Rosario Tuason, and she will give you the ganun. It's scary. And I think parang and parang I need Bongbong for the Philippines to become a first world country again. They are a tandem. My decision is final and unchangeable. Actually, I don't know if I should be saying this because then this person will know that I'm actually reading the messages. But it's so weird.
Yun,
Like,
yun.
it really freaks me out.
Yeah.
Dililing.
Diba? Parang just nonsense, non sequitur stuff. So, yun.
Pero,
Okay.
oh my.
Well, I hope for your safety. I mean, make sure your
Bea,
doors are locked.
Bea, you're so dark today. Ano ba nangyayari?
I know, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. So sorry, but I do like Bridget Jones and Bridget Jones Diaries. Okay.
Wow. What a.
What a segue. No, I have that. No, so I've had like negative experiences with strangers, but I think like with Rahabukas, it was so cute that people like would wear denim jackets and then recreate like certain scenes with their
Oh, that's
girlfriends. I
it.
like that. That was cute.
Okay, so that's a positive experience. That's
It's
really
a
cute.
positive. Yeah.
Okay.
Wala naman to pang experience. Okay. So speaking
I
of
don't want
Bea
to share it because it's so effed up. But
pero
I
meron.
have like, yeah,
Okay, you can tell us after when we end the
yeah.
broadcast. Okay. So guys, we are done. Bea, meron ka bang additional takeaway with your very sunshiny vibe today?
No, look, I look forward to watching all the recommendations. I think I will be more Kilig in the next few days. But
Yeah, okay.
wala na akong masasabi.
Okay. So thank you, Quark, and thank you, Sam. Thank you for allowing us to harass you today.
Yes.
Um, and so, guys, next week we have a special story on surviving heartaches and cancer. I know, a little bit dark, or not so
Wow.
sunshiny like Bea. So stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter. Send us your love successes and failures on our website, thirstyempathy.club. We promise to keep you anonymous if you want. And we promise to do research and give you sound advice.
Yeah. So, guys, for next week, heartbroken and feeling really down, I will try to cheer you up. Obviously, didn't do a good job today. So, bye, guys. Stay thirsty
No, I
and
think it
please.
was a super informative show.
Yeah, yeah. No, I learned so much, Sam.
I learned more from
You
teacher
enlightened
Sam.
me.
I
Yeah.
Sorry, did I screw up your outro? Go ahead.
No, it's
Oh
okay.
no! We have no process here. We're free spirits like a manic pixie dream girl. Okay, so stay thirsty, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thirsty
Ah.
and 30.